Today's garage cooking challenge is pinto beans in the pressure cooker. I've made them before, but it's been a while. And the ingredients are pinto beans, which is soaked overnight. Onion. This is 1 pound of beans. I'll probably use a whole onion. Probably use 4 slices of bacon that I will cook in advance and scald the onions with them. And spices, teaspoon of cumin, probably a half a teaspoon of ancho, a little garlic powder, salt and pepper. And we stopped at a taco truck recently on our travels and had some of the best beans that I've ever had. And I asked the guy, I said, what do you do to them? He said, I put corn oil on them. So I'm going to try maybe a tablespoon and a half of corn oil in them and see how that turns out. But I like making fresh beans much more than buying them in a can. And that's what we'll be doing. So first I'll cut everything up, get the bacon going. So as I cut the bacon here, if you're going to be cutting it in bits and putting it in a frying pan, you don't really have to separate the bacon before you do that. What I've learned is that if you put it in like this with 3 or 4 pieces stuck together in little slices, it will come apart as they cook. Okay, so I'll put the bacon in the frying pan, get it going. I love cast iron. And then I'll start to cut the onion up to put in there after the bacon has gone for a while. And you can see here that once you get the bacon in the pan and heat it a little, all those pieces come apart and they break down just fine. Turn the heat to low so you're not splattering grease everywhere, and finish chopping up your onion. So the bacon is mostly cooked, but not all the way. I'll put it in a bowl, and I'm going to pour some of the grease off to save for other things. And then I will cook the onions, but this is too much grease right now. Okay, I've got some of the grease out of the pan. I'll put the onions in, brown them some. But like the bacon, I'm not going to cook them all the way. By the way, IKEA sells these. You think that centerpiece would get hot, but it doesn't. So I'm doing a little bit of the onions. Here's what they look like. You don't want them to get too done. Just brown some of them up a little, that you can about halfway cooked, I would say. So now this is a 6-quart stainless steel pressure cooker that I'll put the beans in. And you need to make sure you put in enough water, because even though those have soaked, they will continue to absorb water. Here's the onions and the bacon going in. And then I'll put the spices in, as I said. A little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, a teaspoon of ground cumin, and a half teaspoon of ancho. And a tablespoon and a half I'm going to try of corn oil. We'll see how that turns out. Put all the ingredients in the pressure cooker, and I will fill the pot with water until all that's covered. And then I'll cook it for between 15 and 19 minutes, not sure which yet. So I covered the ingredients with water, and this is about how much I'm going to use. As I stirred the material together, I realized that the beans are still a little hard, even after they're soaking. I soaked them 8 hours. And so I'm going to run the pressure cooker for 19 minutes, just to make sure there's no oddball hard ones in there when we're done cooking. Smells good. Here's how they turned out. Not too much extra liquid. We'll pour a little bit of that off. That turned out great.
Good.